Everest, Earth's highest mountain, needs no introduction. At 29,032 feet, it sits not only at the top of the world, but at the top of countless bucket lists. 40,000 people trek to Everest Base Camp in Nepal every year. This past spring, we joined them, hiking for 10 days, sometimes on all fours, often barely breathing. And we could not have done it without the Sherpas. Indigenous to the Everest region, Sherpa is an ethnic group, a last name, and a job description. Often cast as superhuman, they are the porters and guides who risk their lives to help others reach the summit, with little recognition. Our guide, Nima Rinji Sherpa, is part of a new generation hoping to change that. High in the heart of the Himalayas sits Lukla, one of the most dangerous airports in the world.
You see how short that is?
It's incredible. Doesn't look very safe.
Where the short, unforgiving runway is carved into the edge of a cliff. There is no margin for error.
Bravo, bravo, well done.
Oh, yes.
It is the start of what will be a 10-day trek to base camp at 17,598 feet elevation.
I mean, that's crazy.
We meet our porters, who strap 800 pounds of our camera gear to their backs and heads before setting off on the trail.
I guess you're always training.
Nima Rinji Sherpa, the youngest person to summit the world's 14 highest mountains, has trekked up this mountain more times than he can count. A veteran who is just 19.
Watch yourself.
We begin our journey dodging animals at 9,337 feet. Prayer wheels believed to send blessings with every turn mark the way. Out here, you learn the mountain etiquette quickly. When you hear the warning bells, you get out of the way fast. Porters, often overloaded with almost twice their body weight, rule the fast lane. All in, it will be a 50-mile trek and 8,261-foot climb to Everest Base Camp. An ungraceful uphill grind. We've spent months training for it, studied the route, and yet nothing prepares you for this.
Just look down and finish.
I am not looking down. Don't talk. Oh, God. It's windy. I do not like this at all.
Another suspension bridge dangles 45 stories above a roaring gorge below.
You can't be scared of anything if you do what you do.
Of course, you are scared, but you have to balance it in a way that you can be confident, when you do things.
What do you tell yourself when you get scared?
Just trying to calm myself down and just realize who I am.
With every step, we move deeper into Sherpa country and closer to the shadow of Everest. Is there a spiritual connection to Mount Everest?
I think if there is no Everest, we'll still be farming, we'll still be looking after the yaks, the goats, and the mountain has given us like a meaning to a life, I think, yeah.
Mount Everest has given the Sherpa people a meaning.
Yeah.
Almost 150,000 Sherpas live in Nepal, less than 1% of the country's population. Renowned for their endurance, they thrive where oxygen is scarce. Among them, one name rises above all. Did you grow up learning about Tenzing Norgay?
Yes, we had to learn about him.
Nepalese guide Tenzing Norgay and his...
In 1953, Tenzing Norgay, a Sherpa from Nepal, guided Sir Edmund Hillary of New Zealand on the first ever summit of Everest. It was among the most defining moments of the 20th century. And yet, while it cemented Hillary in history, Norgay's contribution was largely overlooked. What does he mean to the Sherpa people?
I think it was because of him, who made the Sherpa a brand today. And for me, he was always a very big motivation just to understand that, okay, maybe we can also be someone like him.
Today, Nima is chasing the recognition that once eluded his idol. It doesn't hurt that he comes from mountaineering royalty. His dad holds the record as the youngest person to summit Everest without supplemental oxygen. His uncles were the first brothers to conquer the world's 14 highest mountains. We are in good hands as we arrive in Tenamche at 11,300 feet.
Best one is this.
Here, we meet Nima's uncle, Mingma Sherpa, a former yak farmer who started as a porter, earning $1 a day carrying loads for foreigners.
I'd come to Kathmandu, carry the lot by porter, 30 kg, 70 kg. I show off the people. I'm strong. I carry like 90 kg too.
It's almost 200 pounds.
He climbed, literally, to the ranks of Sherpa guide, a top job reserved for the strongest and most skilled.
Every step is do and die. Every step is maybe we are alive or not alive, you know.
Every step is that dangerous.
It's dangerous. Sometimes it's nighttime work, sometimes it's avalanche. But our goal is summit.
In 2009, Mingma and his brothers started their own company, Seven Summit Treks, responsible for nearly a third of all Everest expeditions. Now they want to prove that Sherpas are more than indispensable guides to Western climbers, and they are banking on Nima to show that Sherpas can be climbing stars too.
We're almost near Campo now.
At 16, while most teenagers his age were in a classroom, Nima was doing this, climbing into what's known as the death zone. That's when the altitude is above 26,000 feet and the body's organs begin to shut down minute by minute. For his first summit in 2022, Nima climbed and recorded on his way up Nepal's Mount Manaslu.
So that first climb, how hard was it?
Yes, it
Don't
was
say
hard.
easy.
It was hard, but every second I was excited because I never knew what I was gonna see after 10 meters. Of course, the main problem that I had was I had a lot of muscle cramps, and I think it's mostly because I was too young for my age to start at that time. I was sleeping at night, I had some pain in my lungs, some pain on my heart, but for some reason, I don't know why, I kept wanting to go up, and I never felt like I was gonna not summit.
Even in the face of avalanches and serious injuries, it took Nima just 2 years to scale all of the world's 14 tallest mountains. The previous record holder did it in 9 years.
What does it take to do this?
So there has to be a lot of meaning. Why do you want to do it? And because many times the mountains will start to question you why you are here.
The mountains question
The
you.
mountain question you because when you go to Everest, you can feel the energy that you are so small. At that time, you have to have a really like an iron heart to know why you are here. You cannot say I'm just here for fun. That's the worst thing that you can convince yourself.
So why are you there?
I was on a mission to finish all the 14, and I knew I belong in this industry, and so everyone has their own reason, and the reason has to be really big that you don't give up, you know. So getting the crampons ready.
Despite the achievement, big brands never offered endorsements the way they have for Western mountaineers who reach summits.
Do you think the fact that you haven't received any of those endorsements has to do with where you're coming from?
Maybe yes, because of that, but I know my time is gonna come. I don't want to rush.
It sounds like the same deliberate, considered approach you take to those mountains, the one
Yeah.
you've taught us walking up these mountains.
Yes.
Wow, steep. Holy smokes.
By day 5, it is a battle between our lungs and gravity.
That's when you feel it in your legs. You said push off the poles, right? You're not out of breath, I am. Whew.
We are at 13,500 feet elevation. At this point, our inner thoughts are no longer being held in.
This is really hard. They can catch me on the camera taking a break, I don't care.
It just looks close, but there's another.
More stairs. I have to emotionally prepare. Gets a lot harder?
Final way to Pelley. Steep.
Very steep. You're used to it.
After 8 hours of trekking, we arrive in Pelley,
Thank you.
the remote village where Nima trained to become a mountaineer.
Namaste.
We are welcomed with ceremonial scarves, a symbol of honor and respect, and greeted by Nima's mentor, Conrad Eiger, one of America's top mountaineers, who returns to this village each year.
What a beautiful home you have. Wow. It's just breathtaking, literally breathtaking.
Warm up on this wall here.
Eiger opened the Khumbu Climbing Center in Pelley in 2003 to provide Sherpas with specialized technical training to improve safety on high-altitude expeditions.
Smooth technique.
Nima graduated top of his class.
We would show up in fancy gear and all the best stuff, and we would see our staff there with worn out gear or not the proper gear, and then not having the technical knowledge. And that, for me, it was eye-opening.
Is there an inequity between Western climbers and Nepalese climbers?
Oh, yeah. It's not just sponsors, it's the value of what they do. I mean, a Western climber dies, and the community rallies up, and there's fundraising. And yet, for the Nepali climbers, it's not recognized in that same sense.
After a night in a tea house, we leave Pelley behind. Our porters are already lined up the mountainside as we begin the push toward 14,500 feet. Taller than most mountains in the United States. We are just 10 miles now from Everest Base Camp. But we cannot go on without a stop that has become tradition for Nima before he summits. A 600-year-old Buddhist monastery. Where we receive a blessing meant to keep us safe. The monks tie a thin cord around our neck, a simple thread to protect us on the mountain. We are ready for Everest. When we come back, the big business of base camp and the dangerous journey to the summit. Once viewed as a near impossible feat in the most brutal conditions achieved only by the most daring, climbing Mount Everest has shifted from a symbol of ultimate adventure to something mere mortals can accomplish and take a summit selfie to prove it. Today, Everest is a booming, multi-million-dollar high-altitude industry with guided climbs fetching six-figure sums. Base camp has become a tourist destination, as we learned when we made the trek in May. The commercialization has brought wealth and opportunity to the Sherpas of Nepal, but also pressure as they carry the weight of the climbing season. It is peak Everest season, that narrow window in May when the weather holds just long enough for climbers to make their move up to the top of the world. We have been walking for 8 days.
So pretty.
And are now crossing a critical threshold when the body begins to falter. As we gain altitude, every breath delivers less oxygen. In extreme cases, when the brain swells and lungs fill with fluid, severe altitude sickness can be fatal. It's why we don't take the easy way up in a helicopter. The body needs the slow ascent to acclimatize.
These are the memorials are right here?
For all the climbers who passed away.
The hillside ahead is covered in memorials.
This one is from 2014 avalanche.
For those who never made it back from Everest summit. 1 in 3 deaths on Everest is a Sherpa. In 2023 alone,
18 people died, the most in 1 year. So high up, their bodies are almost impossible to recover. Our guide, Nima Rinji Sherpa, the youngest climber to summit the world's 14 highest mountains, knows this all too well.
It seems like death is inevitable in what you do.
I've seen many people pass away, and yeah, it's always there. But you believe that you're not gonna die.
You use death almost as a motivator?
You have to be more careful when you're in the mountains because every time you go, you are so energized and you feel like nothing is gonna happen to you. And then when you see someone pass away, or then you feel like, okay, this is real. Yeah. Final day of the trek.
Yeah, we did really well so far.
And I'm very emotional, about to cry, but...
Don't say that.
Okay.
Today is the first time we'll be touching 5,000 meters, 16,404 feet to be exact.
Which country you're from?
From Canada.
Even up here in this glacial valley,
You're a hero.
Nima is a celebrity. This high up, besides the tourists, it's you, the yaks, and the altitude that crushes your chest.
It took me about 12 days to get up this hill.
We're mere hours from base camp.
It's gotten much colder.
Tonight, maybe minus 15?
Minus 18?
Maybe.
That's brutal.
Our porters who carried all our gear up this mountain have already made it to base camp and are heading back down and on to their next job.
Look at them, they're running down the mountain. I'm barely making it up and they're coming back down already. This is amazing.
Thank you.
This is the final approach.
Really almost there now. Oh my God.
Less a trail than a passage to where the high Himalaya begins.
Just you can see now, base camp.
There it is. We did it.
After 10 days of climbing, we catch our first glimpse of Everest Base Camp. It sits on top of constantly shifting and melting ice.
Wow. Incredible. Oh! Oops. What is that? The rock is falling off.
The world's highest glacier, the Khumbu Glacier.
Freezing. Nose feels like it's gonna fall off. This is where you try to not fall in the glacier lake. Every rock counts.
Here at 17,600 feet above sea level, every breath delivers only half the oxygen. It's like breathing through a straw.
We're so close.
Our lips are blue, a sign that we are not getting enough oxygen.
It's like a Instagram photo shoot.
Yes, famous
Wow.
stone.
But we've made it.
Welcome to Everest Base Camp. I was like, am I gonna make this? Do I need a helicopter? So nice to see you. Namaste, thank you.
We're officially here now.
Oh my goodness.
From a few dozen successful summits in the early 1980s to a near record, almost 500 climbing permits issued this season, Everest has never been more commercialized. And climbers go to new extremes to stand out, such as the British team who this season summited Everest in less than a week by using xenon gas to boost oxygen levels in their blood.
Has tourism changed Everest for better or worse?
For Nepal, of course, Everest has been a blessing. For Sherpas, for the country, the biggest revenue source.
It's a big part of your family's livelihood.
You have to understand that it's not only us who is getting business, but the taxi driver, the heli pilot, the lodges, the porters, the whole economy is sustaining, So you cannot just say that only we are profiting. So everyone is profiting from this.
Nima Sherpa, our inspiration.
Thank you, guys.
Commercial expeditions have transformed Everest into high-altitude luxury. Today, some climbers pay up to $180,000 for premium packages that come with private chefs, a movie theater, and espresso machines. For better or worse, this is Everest now. And starting in 2013, Nima's father, Tashi Lakpa Sherpa, helped build it, turning an isolated mountainside into an economy. What was once a weeks-long, bone-chilling wait at base camp for a summit window, that lull in the weather when it's safe to attempt a move to the top, can now feel like summer camp on a glacier.
Hola.
Small luxuries aside,
You have call.
2 nights here test every ounce of resilience. Breathing, eating, and sleeping are struggles, and the bathroom is a bed of rocks in a flapping tent. The wind is brutal, the cold piercing, and the terrain offers no shelter from the elements.
Camp 2, this is Camp 2, 6,500 meters.
As always, it's the Sherpas who shoulder the burden, especially on expeditions that extend beyond ours and push up to higher camps and ultimately to the summit, a journey that can take weeks.
Everest.
Through it, they navigate Everest's deadliest terrain, the Khumbu Icefall. A maze of shifting towers of ice and bottomless crevasses, it's the elite Sherpas called Icefall Doctors who go in first. They build the route with ladders lashed together over sheer drops. Every step is a gamble. Sherpas cross far more than any climber, risking everything for someone else's summit. To make it safer, innovation is taking flight. For the first time, expedition companies, including 7 Summit Treks, are using drones to ferry loads in high altitudes.
The drones are flying around as we speak right now.
The drones are now helping the Icefall Doctors. They're helping to take the ladders, the ropes, and at the same time the drones are helping to bring down all the trash and many things.
The hope is that the new technology might reduce the number of fatal accidents.
So these are jobs that Sherpas would have done in the past.
The job is not gone away, it's just making the job easier and safer and faster.
So if it takes a porter hours to climb from base camp to Camp 1, how quickly can a drone do it?
3 minutes.
3 minutes?
3.5 minutes, yeah.
Wow.
Inexperience can be deadly, especially at the top of the world's highest mountain.
From Everest summit.
In the death zone, where every minute counts, one stalled climber can trap dozens behind them for hours, turning Everest into the world's highest traffic jam. When the inevitable rescue is needed, it's Simone Moro who gets the call. The Italian has been flying helicopters for Nima's family and climbing this mountain for years. In April, he pulled off this dangerous rescue mission. So high up, there was barely enough air to keep the rotor blades spinning.
You can't imagine how many people they come up, some with not enough acclimatization, some other with not enough preparation, and they start to feel bad. And if I don't go and pick them and quickly took them down, they die for pulmonary edema, cerebral edema, and this happens quite often, even in the night while they are sleeping in the lodge. In the morning they go, try to wake up, they are dead.
Even for those who survive the night, another danger often looms.
Whoa. This one is big.
This avalanche stopped just short of our tents, one of many that followed a 5.5 magnitude earthquake when we were on the mountain.
For sure, this is an extra stress that you feel it because...
Oh, we felt the stress. I heard the avalanche all night.
But honestly, the base camp for such kind of danger, you have a higher danger here than not higher.
I'm glad you're telling me this on our final day as we're about to leave.
It was intentional that we didn't tell you anything. Plan of the day,
When he's not flying around the mountain, Moro, one of the world's top climbers, is scaling them. And now he's taking Nima with him. Together, they are training to conquer more peaks, this time without fixed ropes, supplemental oxygen, or support teams. It is survival as sport.
It's snowing, also very cold, huh?
There's a difference between you and me. What's different in here?
I think we are a little bit better in suffering, maybe. So people
You've heard me complaining.
people like Simone, me, like my dad, my uncle, like we know we come from zero. We're nobody in this world, and we created something for ourselves.
So like this is your legacy, but the mountain is also your legacy. You know, usually you don't talk to 19-year-olds about their legacies.
Yeah, I don't know about legacy for now. Maybe one day, I will have my own legacy, maybe after 20, 30 years, yeah?
All right, we'll circle back in 30 years.
Okay, sure.
In Kathmandu, though. I'm not coming back all the way up here.
Yeah.
A bus filled with widows of war and their children left Ukraine bound for the Austrian Alps. They'd been invited to a charity summer camp hosted by Nathan Schmidt, an American Marine who knows all too well the bereavement of war. As we first told you last fall, mountain climbing was Schmidt's path to recovery from 3 combat tours in Iraq. And so, when Vladimir Putin launched his attack on an innocent people, Schmidt offered Ukraine what seemed like an impossible hope, that in only 6 days in the Alps, he could teach grieving families to rise. The journey to an Austrian hotel ended at 3 in the morning after 45 hours on the road. So the trip already felt like a mistake to widows who packed enough skepticism to last the week. Their husbands died defending Ukraine, among the tens of thousands of Ukrainian soldiers killed. Time stopped for Natalia Zaremba and her 2 young boys. She told us,
I
think they still don't believe what happened. Just like me, they're still waiting for Daddy to come home from work. For Daddy to fly home, to 8-year-old Ilya and 5-year-old Andrei, who imagined mastering the air like their dad. Mikhailo Zaremba was a Navy pilot, shot down May 2022 in the unprovoked invasion of his home. He loved Ukraine, so he gave his life for Ukraine. What is your hope for this trip? I want to find strength for myself, to be able to bring my children up, to bring our children up. I want to find the strength to not let my husband down and to give our children a good future. 13 widows and 20 children had come to Austria from Mykolaiv, a city bombed by the Russians for 260 days. The bereaved families traveled 1,300 miles on faith to meet a stranger still struggling to heal from his own war.
Slava Ukraini! Slava Ukraini! Slava Ukraini!
Nathan Schmidt, Naval Academy graduate, Lieutenant Colonel U.S. Marine Corps Reserve, led shouts of glory to Ukraine at the 3rd summer camp hosted by his small charity, the Mountain Seed Foundation.
It comes from the Bible. It was, with faith the size of a mustard seed, one can move mountains. We're not a religious organization, but that faith in something bigger, that faith in self. And if you can reinforce that faith, we and you can move mountains.
What do you hope these families have when they return to Ukraine.
We teach about the significance of the rope in mountaineering. The rope signifies community. It signifies team. You're never alone on the rope. It also signifies courage. Because when you're on the rope, that means you're climbing a mountain. And courage doesn't mean that you're not afraid. It actually means that you are afraid and you're going to overcome that fear.
There would be plenty of fear to overcome, because ultimately this was his goal: to lead children on the last leg of a climb to the peak of Mount Kitzsteinhorn at more than 10,000 feet. The first steps to the summit began with training for the kids, ages 5 to 17. For their moms, there were daily group therapy sessions, and every day of the camp would raise the challenge for both.
We're going to trust ourselves, the main thing. We're going to trust our equipment, and we're going to trust the team that we're with.
The team of professional guides and other volunteers included Dan Knassen. Knassen was Schmidt's Naval Academy classmate. As a Navy SEAL in 2009, he lost his legs in Afghanistan. He's a 3-time Paralympian, but he'd never climbed since his injury. The first days of training looked dangerous, but there was always an expert on the rope.
No? Yeah, that's a little late.
One professional guide for every 4 children who eased the tension slowly for kids including 14-year-old Miroslav Kupchenkov.
Now just lean back, totally trust.
No.
Lean back.
I can't.
You can.
I can't.
You can.
I can't.
Of course you can.
Miroslav, his adult sister, and their mother, Natalia, lost Alexander Kupchenkov, a 53-year-old career soldier.
Это был человек, с которым...
Natalia told us, he was the man I wanted to spend my whole life with. He was the best at everything. Wonderful husband, wonderful dad. People loved him. Kupchenkov was hit by a Russian missile, March 2022, as he was running ammunition to his pinned-down soldiers.
Он каждый день показывал, как
Miroslav told us, every day he showed me how to be a good person, and he was always brave.
Постоянно отважным.
He would never go back, only forward.
Только вперед.
And Miroslav discovered, in rappelling, going back is going forward, and terror was just one step before triumph.
That's it. There you go. Super.
As the children learned the ropes, the moms seemed to be near the end of theirs.
It will be hard for you to hear this.
They were led by clinical psychologist Amit Oren, with translation by Irina Prihochko, the charity's Ukrainian co-founder. Amit Oren is an assistant professor at the Yale School of Medicine.
The way I approach this group of people is not in looking at their trauma. It's in looking at their strengths.
And what strengths are you finding?
Capacity for love, honesty. These are the strengths that they're finding. All I do is take a flashlight, illuminate inside them, and let them see and remember who they are.
But Svetlana Milenchuk, on the left, didn't see the light. She didn't believe in breakthroughs. She brought her daughter, Miroslava, while her adult daughter stayed home. Svetlana lost her husband, Yuri, a civilian building inspector who volunteered the day after Putin invaded. Svetlana mixed homemade explosives for the troops as her husband sent text messages from the front. Svetlana told us, pictures started coming in. Good morning, darling. with a photo of a flower taken right from the trench. It was spring already, right from the trench. The photos thrilled her because Yuri had always worked too much at the expense of the family, she thought. But after the invasion, family was all he cared about. His revelation lifted their lives. Then he was dead. And her rage is almost like blindness. I became very distant and angry, and I kept all the sorrow inside. I didn't share it. Nathan Schmidt was keeping his sorrow inside when, in 2019, a friend invited him on a climbing trip. Schmidt wasn't a mountaineer, he's afraid of heights. To him, the idea sounded so difficult and frightening, it might just have the force to break his grief.
Yeah. You know, I spent the Naval Academy preparing myself for war, and nothing can prepare yourself for war.
In 2004, Schmidt was a 24-year-old first lieutenant who dreamed of leading Marines. He landed in Fallujah on the eve of the bloodiest battle of the entire Iraq War.
2 weeks after arriving at Camp Fallujah, I lost my teacher, who was a mentor of mine at the Naval Academy.
Killed.
Yeah, the rocket struck the office. I was the second one in the room, and it was the first time I had ever seen anyone die in such a way, and it was my teacher. And that established a crack in me that had to be healed in another way that took years and years to heal. The problem was that was the first of many cracks. I lost one of our Marines that was in my unit a month later. I then had my friend lose his leg. I took over his team. A few days after that, I lost my analyst in the gun turret of our vehicle. By the end of November, the unit that I was with, which is a great unit, 3-1, was combat ineffective. We had lost over 20% of our unit, either injured or killed.
And that was his first tour. He fought in Iraq for 3 years. Who were you after that third tour?
I thought in my mind that I was the strongest. But in reality, I was the weakest. I was strong physically. I could do as many pull-ups as you asked me to do. I could run. Man, I was broken. And, you know, those cracks, they take a lifetime to heal.
You spend this week doing what you can to heal these families. And I wonder how much of that is healing you.
It's huge. This program has healed me in ways I can't even describe, and I feel sometimes like it's selfish. But you're right. You're right. It works, and I'm not sure why.
Maybe it works because the children and mothers who arrived on the bus will not be the same people who return to Ukraine. No one's quite the same after scaling a wall like this. When we come back, teaching the bereaved to rise. Nathan Schmidt's week-long summer camp for bereaved Ukrainian children and their mothers began with training in the Austrian Alps. Then, serious work began, the kind of challenge that might rise to a revelation.
The Hohe-Tauern National Park embraces some of the highest peaks in the Austrian Alps and a feat of engineering. The Moserboden Dam would be the first big challenge for the 13 widows and their 20 children. A zip line flew them to the concrete face, where they found a steel cable to clip their harnesses to. Footholds were set across the span about 2.5 football fields wide. The children and moms literally could not fall, and yet the Moserboden Dam remained 32 stories of doubt. Natalia Zaremba did not like the measure of it. The Russians had killed her husband, the father of her 2 boys. Was this risk foolish?
Why do you put them on this dam?
We put them on this dam because we want them to confront discomfort. We want them to confront their fears.
Nathan Schmidt co-founded the Mountain Seed Foundation charity. We met in the 700 square mile park where the dam, finished after World War II, is a tourist attraction for rock climbers.
What makes this safe in your view?
First off, we have professional mountain guides. The second thing is all of the equipment that we have. They train throughout the week on it. They know how to use the equipment. And then particularly the little children, they are also short roped into a guide. So there's multiple layers of security for them.
And so, with all that security, the challenge was not so much under their feet as under their skin.
And here we go.
Miroslav Kupchenkov, who told us his late father never went back, always forward, was following his father's lead.
You know, in life, sometimes the thing that gets you through a difficult point is knowing that you've already done something more difficult.
What difference do you see in them when they reach the top?
The sheer look of joy on their faces.
Perfect.
It's hard to even comprehend, and we know that that will be a strong point for them when they go back to Ukraine. They will know that they've conquered this wall, and they've conquered their own fears.
Fears conquered by Natalia Zaremba, who at the end of the climb was walking on air.
Yeah!
She told us she came to Austria to find strength to raise her boys alone.
Nice!
Це було щось неймовірне.
She said, "It was something incredible. As soon as I stepped on the ground, the children ran to me, hugged me. There were no flowers there, so my older son gave me a branch from a bush."
You know, I see you smiling, and I suspect there hasn't been a lot of that.
Зараз нема тої радості.
I don't feel joy the way I used to.
Тому що
Wherever I am, no matter how good a time I'm having,
як би весело ми не
it's hard knowing my husband could have been with us, but he's not. And even when I smile, the pain in my heart is very strong.
Дуже сильний.
The pain is strong, but maybe not invincible. Natalia was listening at the meetings, and words of inspiration, like those of Navy SEAL Dan Kanassen, were getting through.
That bomb in Afghanistan took my legs, and I can't change that fact.
Бомба в Афганістані забрала мої ноги, і я не можу це змінити.
But ultimately, it has to be up to me to decide if it's going to take the rest of my life, too. Thank you all very much.
Still, for others, especially Svetlana Malinchuk, words fell short. She had told us her husband sent photos of flowers from his trench until the Russians killed him. She said, "Life is a book that you read your whole life. When my husband died, I stopped turning the pages in the book." But opening a new chapter is what clinical psychologist Amit Oren had in mind. And so she took the widows to a storybook castle where she hoped to scale the walls of Svetlana Malinchuk.
And I started to talk with her about castle walls. That we're going to see a castle where there are always very deep, tough, impenetrable walls. And that I thought that her face looked like that. That it was hard to see what's inside, like this castle. And I brought them to a wall, a side wall of the castle, where there are teeny tiny windows. And I said to them, right now, I think you're here at the bottom. And as you go up, you're able then to see 3 windows. I said, unless you open that window, you can't peer out and see the beauty around you. You're trapped. And ultimately what happened is several of the women stood there on the grass and opened up to each other. She was one of them. It was choking you. It was choking you.
Це душило вас.
The next day, after the group session, Svetlana had been thinking.
She came up to me and said to me, it was a very painful conversation we had, and I made a decision. My anger was choking me, and I decided to let it go so I can breathe. Congratulations.
Вітаю.
You've done hard work.
Ви зробили дуже важку роботу.
I'm so happy for you.
Вона дуже.
She has a long way to go, but she's understood that it's a choice at least. The few things she can control in this world is how open or closed she chooses to be in her own castle.
You know, as you talk to the mothers, none of them expected what happened in February of 2022.
The invasion.
Losing their homes, in many cases, losing their future, or at least their future being unknown. And it's one of those moments in climbing where you look all around and you don't know where you're going to put your hand, and you don't know where you're going to put your foot. You don't know if you're going to be able to stay in that position or fall. This program is meant to show them the footholds and the handholds, to fill the cracks that they have too, and then lead their children back up the mountain.
On day 5, one mountain remained. Nathan Schmidt took the first steps from a high tram station on an ascent to the peak of Mount Kitzsteinhorn. It was a steep and icy 570 feet to the ultimate test of the camp. Like the dam earlier, there was a fixed cable to hook onto, but like the dam, glancing down looked fatal, and looking up, a cold, thin glare exposed hours of struggle. We followed Schmidt's lead and remembered what he told us about the rope we were on and its 3 lessons: community, courage,
and the last thing is responsibility. And this is probably the most difficult one. And that is, when you're on the rope, you're responsible for those that are on the rope with you. When they're weak, you pull them up. When they are showing signs of fatigue, you encourage them.
Look at me, Ivan. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4.
We hope that when they go home, that they build their own communities. They add people to their rope. That they encourage them to face their fears and have courage.
Courage lifted them 10,508 feet, a summit reached by everyone.
Let's go, Dan!
including Nathan Schmidt's Naval Academy classmate Dan Kanassen on his prosthetics.
It was tough, but I'm happy to make it to the top, and it was great to do it with everyone. Seeing the kids climbing gave me a lot of inspiration to keep pushing.
Natalia Zarimba's kids pushed to the top. She had come to Austria to find strength within herself, but from the peak, she could see where that kind of strength truly comes from.
Ми будемо мати
We have something that bonds us more now, some new achievements which we experienced together and that taught us to be braver and stay together, because only together can we overcome this.
бути разом.
Our strength, she said, will be from being
В цьому
together.
наша сила буде.
Also among the climbers at the summit was Miroslav Kupchenkov, who told us now he could do anything.
What is your hope for them? Okay, my hope for them is that they can remember the achievement that they've had, and I also hope they can remember the stillness and the peace of these mountains. You can't hear the sounds of war here. You just close your eyes and you feel like you can fly.
Even Svetlana Malinchuk took flight, rising to the summit and at last to the high open windows of her castle.
Я кричала, откровенно говоря, просто кричала.
I was screaming. To be honest, I was simply screaming. Having breathed in full lungs of air, I was screaming with my head up toward, I don't know, God? Nature? I don't know. I was just getting rid of all the negative.
Has this helped you in some small way to heal?
Я свой мешок.
Oh, well, at least I managed to open the bag of my sorrows. To open their sorrows to the sky. 5 days before, they clipped to a rope a string of broken souls. Now, they would return to the war, but this time, resurrected in strength and love and invincible hope.
The Eiger in the Swiss Alps is one of the most forbidding mountains in the world. Locals call it the ogre, and for more than a century, this monster of a mountain has attracted thrill seekers eager to risk their lives on its nearly vertical slopes. More than 60 climbers have frozen or fallen to their deaths. Now, a new breed of daredevil is taking on the Eiger, not by climbing up the mountain, but by plunging down it. When we heard that after years of planning, a new kind of descent was about to be attempted, we went to Switzerland to see firsthand something no one had ever tried before. At 13,000 feet, the icy summit of the Eiger is too steep and rocky to simply ski down.
You ready?
So JT Holmes is training in 3 extreme sports to rocket down more of the Eiger than anyone ever has. Right now, he's practicing one of those sports, speed riding, on a nearby mountain slope with his friend and cameraman, Valentin Deluc. To speed ride, JT is using skis, but he's also attached to a glider-like parachute called a speed wing. It allows him to soar over rocks and ledges impossible to ski.
You're capable of transitioning in and out of flight at will.
So you're both skiing and then you're flying. And then you're skiing a little bit more.
Exactly.
But speed riding will only take JT so far down the Eiger. He'll also ski off a cliff and then free fall the rest of the way, all in one long, non-stop, breathtaking ride.
3 sports, 1 run. And they're my 3 favorite sports, so.
These are the 3 things you love?
Yeah, these are 3 of the things that I love.
JT needs perfect conditions for this dangerous descent, and so far he hasn't been lucky. Weather on the Eiger is unpredictable. Fierce winds whip the slopes and change direction dramatically. JT checks the Eiger every day to see if he can finally head to the summit. The past 2 years, he's had to cancel plans because wind blew the snow off the top of the mountain.
Today, the conditions are not right.
Well, yeah, today you can't even see the top of the Eiger, so first of all, you couldn't land a helicopter up there.
How long have you been planning this?
You know, first kind of thoughts of it were upwards of 6 years ago, but really focused on it for 3.
Why is it taking so long?
Be putting your life, you know, in unnecessary risk, so I need the right day.
JT is well aware of the risk. He started out as a professional skier. The steeper the slope, the better.
Ready, set, go!
Now at 35, he makes a living through endorsements and filming his remarkable feats. When we first met him 6 years ago in Norway, he and his daredevil friends were pioneering the use of wingsuits, jumping off mountains and flying at more than 100 miles an hour. But in the last several years, a number of JT's friends and acquaintances have died in wingsuit accidents. Eiger Ruud, who was flying with JT in Norway, was killed in 2012 when he struck a cliff and fell 1,000 feet. JT won't be wingsuit flying off the Eiger. The most dangerous part of his descent will be after he finishes speed riding, when he tries to jettison his skis and free fall down the rest of the mountain. To practice, he makes base jumps without skis off a tiny, slippery piece of rock he calls the mushroom.
I stepped off the helicopter onto the mushroom, and that was fine. I had good grip. But then I took another step, and there was this really thin ice layer. Yeah, it feels more uneven than I remember it.
He's off.
He falls for about 20 seconds, accelerating to 110 miles an hour before opening his parachute.
He's strutting right toward us. The parachute's open, it's a white parachute, he's red. That was amazing. How was it?
Scary.
When JT jumps off the cliff on the Eiger, he'll have his skis on. Properly releasing them is critical.
What's the danger if you can't get the skis off?
You're at risk of an unstable parachute deployment or a snag.
So the biggest danger is that the ski is going to get tangled up in the parachute.
That's the risk.
That risk is foremost in his mind because of what happened to his best friend, Shane McConkey. In 2007, JT and Shane started skiing off mountains, dropping their skis, and then flying away in wingsuits. It was a dangerous combination they found thrilling.
Oh yeah, another wingsuit ski base. Here we go.
But on this jump in Italy in 2009, Shane McConkey's ski release mechanism jammed. He couldn't get his skis to come off. He crashed into the ground at high speed and was killed instantly.
That's how he died. His skis didn't come off.
He couldn't get his skis off, struggled in his wingsuit, and crashed.
When JT is training at the Eiger, he wears a t-shirt with a funny picture of Shane on it.
This Eiger descent?
Without his old friend there to help him, he's turned to new friends. Martin Sherman is an experienced Swiss mountain guide.
They can change very quickly, from good conditions to really nasty.
It can turn bad very quickly.
Oh yeah, and then you're in trouble.
One wrong step and you can plunge off.
You're gone.
Martin and JT are cautious and methodical, making numerous trips of the Eiger to plan in advance every part of the complex descent, particularly this spot where JT will jump, jettison his skis, and begin to free fall.
You're standing there on the top of the mountain. What goes through your mind?
There's two mindsets. You know, there's the Evel Knievel, which is kind of kamikaze, and who knows how it's going to work out, and will you hit the landing ramp or not? And then there's the James Bond. And Bond is composed and dialed, and he uses clever pieces of gear which he developed with Q to, outwit his opponents and pull off tremendous things.
Which one are you?
I'm Bond.
After days of waiting and years of false starts and canceled attempts, on this visit in April, the weather on the mountain suddenly clears. JT decides the time is right. He and his team take a chopper to the Eiger summit.
I'm checking for landmarks on the way up and kind of confirming my line, my path of descent.
So you already have a path of descent in your mind?
It's something that's been memorized.
The Eiger may be a monster of a mountain, but up close, the summit is shockingly small. Here, there is no room for error, no room for the helicopter.
It's not big enough for the helicopter to actually land.
It does what we call a toe-in, where it just puts its nose into the Eiger and it just hovers there.
How big is the area that you're standing on at the top?
The top of the Eiger is pretty small. There is no flat spot. You know, workable space is 3 ping pong tables.
3 ping pong tables?
Yeah.
That's it?
Something like that, yeah.
A mistake here, one wrong step at 13,000 feet could cost them their lives. JT and his team work for almost an hour. Wearing crampons on their ski boots, they dig trenches with ice axes so they won't fall down the nearly vertical slope. The surface is jagged ice, not powdery snow, and it can easily rip the speed wings.
I don't like how these things grab the lines.
They file down the sharp pieces of ice so they won't snag the speed wing lines. But the wind kicks up, and they have to quickly reposition them. JT decides it's now or never.
Okay, you're good? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go!
JT launches off the summit. Champion speed rider Valentin Deluc quickly follows, videotaping for us with a camera on his helmet. The ride of a lifetime has begun.
That's when you turn your skis downhill. You know, doing that's very committing, because you point your skis down the Eiger, you're probably not going to stop till the bottom.
One way or the other?
One way or the other.
JT uses the speed wing for much of the descent, flying over outcroppings of rock and icy slopes too steep to ski. He reaches an open slope on the Eiger's western flank and lands. He cuts loose his speed wing so it won't slow him down. Now he relies solely on his skis and skill.
It's black diamond skiing. You're in a really cool place where few people have skied. Really what you're trying to do is just gather as much speed as possible and just propel yourself off the cliff.
The cliff he'll ski off is coming up fast. This is the most dangerous part of JT's descent. There is no stopping. He completes a double backflip to stabilize himself, releases his skis, then free falls. His nylon suit is aerodynamically designed, propelling him forward so he doesn't crash into any rock ledges. He falls nearly 2,000 feet, finally opening his parachute.
Woohoo! Yeah! Yeah, buddy!
He drifts safely to the ground, landing more than a mile below the Eiger's summit.
Whoa, dude! Woo! Oh my God! That was pretty intense, man.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I don't have words to describe how it felt to go and pull that off after so much time. And, you know, it's kind of a twisted style of having fun, but it was really fun.
If you're too fast, it's a little just kind of scary.
We assumed JT would call it a day after making it down the Eiger in one piece. But after catching his breath and repacking his equipment, he decides to head back to the summit and do the whole run down the mountain once again.
3, 2, 1, go!
His speed ride off the summit goes perfectly. He flies over trouble spots and builds up speed as he approaches the cliff edge. But when he tries to release his skis, one of them won't come off. This is what killed his best friend, Shane McConkey. JT struggles for several agonizing seconds, then finally manages to drop the ski. It's a close call, but it doesn't seem to stop him from enjoying the rest of the ride.
Could you give it up?
I believe that I could, because I don't feel that I'm, addicted to this sort of type of thing, this adrenaline or this sort of high-risk activity.
You're not an adrenaline junkie, you don't think?
Absolutely not. I prefer adrenaline enthusiast. And I truly believe that I don't have to do this, and I truly believe that I enjoy doing this.
That's pretty clear.
You know, the day will come when I tone it down significantly.
But that day's not here yet.
It's not today.
For hundreds of years, fully grown adults and very young children have dreamed about flying. People have made wings out of feathers and wood, jumped off buildings and cliffs in order to soar like a bird, and a lot of them have died trying. Now, a small group of extreme sportsmen wearing specially made wingsuits have come about as close to flying as you can get outside the confines of an airplane, at least for a minute or two. Some people call them Birdmen, and we first learned about them on the internet. The pictures we saw were so spectacular, we decided to assemble some of the sport's top athletes and mount a small expedition with the latest high-definition cameras to one of the most beautiful places on Earth to see what this is all about.
3, 2, 1 to base.
There he goes.
He's gonna come around the corner.
There he is. Oh, he's high. Nice.
You can hear him already.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You feel that?
J.T. Holmes is an American, a professional skier from Lake Tahoe.
I've got like little goosebumps from that speed, eh?
Julian Boule is a South African living in France, a skydiver and aerial photographer par excellence. And that's Tom Erik Hyman, one of our Norwegian hosts darting across the valley.
I just love feeling that speed and watching stuff go by.
And how fast are you going?
That was probably about 140, 150 mile an hour flyby.
That sound is amazing to me.
Did you feel it?
Yeah.
It's so cool to watch. I can just...
If you want to do this, there is no better time or place than the Romsdal Valley of Norway during the summer solstice, a paradise of fjords and farms several hundred miles northwest of Oslo. Myth has it that Norway's trolls live here amidst the waterfalls and some of the tallest, sheerest cliffs in Europe. Norwegians have been parachuting off them for decades. Birdmen take the extreme sport to new extremes, dropping off a cliff and free-falling until the air inflates the wings of their nylon suits and propels them forward.
The dive creates the speed, and you use that speed to glide out and, fly flatter.
Gravity makes it impossible for them to go up or even maintain altitude. For every 2 feet JT glides forward, he drops a foot. But the suit allows him to stay aloft 3 times longer than a skydiver.
Within a few seconds, of course, that suit, that wind is going to fill up that suit, it's going to pressurize, and you're going to have total control.
How long have you been doing this?
5 years.
What's special about the wingsuits?
It's just like so many children dream. It's flying.
You feel like you're flying?
Well, I am flying. So yes, I do very much feel like I'm flying.
Like a bird?
Yeah, just like a bird that can't flap his wings and go up. The birds probably laugh at us. They're probably just like, look at these guys.
They have long grown bored of simply flying over the valleys. In order to maximize the sensation of speed, they need a visual reference point, so they fly just a few feet from the rock face. Sometimes you're flying so close to these cliffs, it looks like you could reach out and touch them. And you're going 100 miles an hour, 140 miles an hour?
Yeah.
There's not much margin for error there.
It feels entirely in control, and the speed actually increases your stability, and it increases your safety margin, because with the speed that we're flying with, you can create lift. You can pop up and fly away at any time. There's margin there.
Ready, set, go!
How quickly can you turn?
I don't even know how to turn. You just do it. You just look where you want to go, and you just go there, and then you just feel it and go. You're like, yeah, let's go fast. This feels good. The faster I go, the more control I have, and you just charge with it.
To the extent that JT and the others ever get nervous, it usually comes at a time that many people might consider one of the most mundane legs of the trip, when the end is in sight.
What is the most dangerous part of this?
The most important thing is to open that parachute, you know? Just that moment when you reach back and throw the pilot chute out there, which extracts your parachute, that's the most critical thing. I mean, if you don't do that, you're not gonna live through it.
But getting down the mountain, which only takes a minute or so, is just part of the extreme sport. The much longer and more arduous part involves scaling the mountains you're going to jump off in the first place.
How long does it take you to get up to the ledge where you go from?
This one's about an hour and a half, but you know, some of them are up to 4, 5, 6 hours for the big mountains around here.
There are no chairlifts, which explains why JT, Julian, and Tom Eric are members of such a small and exclusive club. You have to be a skilled climber, an accomplished skydiver, and an experienced outdoorsman to even attempt to do this.
You know, it's that first view looking over the edge that really hits you. You're like, whoa, cool. This is an amazing spot to fly.
Money can't buy you this experience. You've got to have the passion to do your time. If you haven't done the time, you just can't get there. You can't arrive with like $10,000 and buy wingsuit experience.
What do you have to know? What kind of skills do you have to be able to do what you do?
You need to just have some mountain sense. You know, how long am I going to be? What if something goes wrong? How long is it going to be until I can get back? If the weather comes in, you need to know yourself. How much water do I need? Can I realistically walk up this mountain for 2 hours, or is that not within my physical capabilities? Yesterday I jumped from.
It all looks spontaneous, but the Birdmen put together a detailed plan every time they jump.
There's still some fog coming in.
And they almost always have help from the locals, who serve as spotters, keeping them posted of weather conditions and potential problems on the ground. A Birdman died here just last spring.
You ever get spooked up there?
I have, yeah. On a couple of occasions, I've had no real good reason for not jumping, but I just walked back down.
We're trying to get people to understand that we're not crazy. We just want to have fun like everybody else. We want to share nature like everyone else. We just have our own special way of doing it.
If you die base jumping, it is your own fault. It is your own mistakes that makes that happen.
Do you think about it? I mean, when you're up there on the top of the mountain, you're getting ready to go, and you all shake hands and say, do you think about the possibility?
But we don't think like, oh, no. I might not see you again. I
better say goodbye. Give me a kiss. Let's do this.
That never enters your mind. No. Come on.
If you do crash when you're flying your wingsuit, you're gonna die. Nobody lives through that. You're just going too fast.
JT was just 15 when his dad took him helicopter skiing. Today, he's one of the best in the world at it, making a living endorsing products and making movies for top-of-the-line production companies like MSP Films.
You're a professional skier.
Yeah. Yeah, great job.
I mean, in your day job, there are any number of ways you could kill yourself in your day job. And for fun, you take on something that's maybe even more dangerous?
Yeah, I do dangerous things.
He and his friend Shane McConkey were the first to ski off mountains wearing their wingsuits. Then they jettisoned their skis so they could fly down the mountain.
You lost a good friend recently.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Shane. He was supposed to be with us here.
Yeah, he was. We planned this trip to meet up with you guys. Then I took off to Europe. That was when he died.
You were with him?
Yep.
Shane crashed in Italy because he was unable to release his ski bindings quickly enough so he could begin flying.
How did it affect you?
It saddened me deeply. You know, I miss my friend.
Did it make you think about quitting?
Yeah.
But you did?
No. No, I didn't quit. At least I haven't quit yet.
Near the end of our stay, we chartered a helicopter for the biggest adventure of our visit. We were going to the top of one of the most famous mountains in Norway, Romsdalshorn. When JT and the others climb up here, they don't even use ropes. The chopper saved us time and energy. It was a dizzying flight, not for the faint-hearted. From the air, our landing pad looked tiny but solid, a flat piece of rock. But when we touched down, it turned out to be an unstable patchwork of stone. You guys said that this was like the size of 2 football fields. This is like the size of an NBA basketball court.
For a summit, it's huge. You could throw a party up here for New Year's Eve.
I'm busy New Year's Eve. It was early summer, but we were a mile above the valley floor and the temperature was just above freezing.
Kind of half the battle just getting in these things, though. You know, you kind of feel like you're climbing into a tight cockpit.
They had a pre-flight checklist, making sure their zippers were closed, parachutes well packed, and there were no rips in their wingsuits. It was time to go to what they call the exit point.
So you're having fun?
Yeah, I'm enjoying myself.
I wish I could say the same thing. I'm not crazy about heights.
By his count, JT has jumped off mountains like this 125 times, but there is a bit of the first time every time he does it.
Okay. I feel, you know, kind of butterflies in my stomach, and you just feel like a flow of adrenaline.
Tom Erik and his Norwegian friend Espen were the first to take the plunge.
See ya.
So are you psyched right now?
Yeah.
That's the way
For
to describe
sure.
it. Pumped.
Yeah.
You're pumped.
Yeah, I'm fired up. I want to go. Can I go?
You can go.
We decided not to follow JT down the last few steps to the ledge where he was going to jump. And we were glad we didn't. He then collected himself and took a couple of deep breaths.
You ever have trouble pulling the trigger?
No, I don't. But, you know, you do sometimes have trouble finding that calm moment. You know, and you're just like, okay, well, this is about as calm as I'm going to get this time. Okay, ready, set, go. You know, you step off and it's like you're an astronaut, you're just weightless, and then you start to fall and you get the wind, and that's when you're gaining speed, and I really enjoy that part. You know, air is air and gravity is gravity. You know, you're carving through just beautiful stuff there.
For some of these pictures, Julian was our cameraman, and at one point he and JT were flying so close together in such perfect formation that there was time for a Birdman high five half a mile up at 140 miles an hour. It was an exhilarating moment, but it wasn't the last. Over the next few days, they kept on jumping, saving the best for last.
Ready, set, go! And you're just flying along the wall on your right. And at that point, I don't really know what's going on. Is Julian there or not? I assume he is because he's so good. But on this jump, I can see our shadows, and I'm like, oh, yeah, he's right there, sick, he's right there. Every jump is like a little mini adventure. These are experiences that I only want to share with people that I love and respect.
It's a goodie.
Thanks.
Yeah, buddy, good trip.
Good trip.
We've done it again.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody else had much fun as us today in the entire world?
I don't think so. I really don't think so.
I don't think it's possible.
No.